Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of geography. So as in the previous session we have discussed about the various resources and different types of resources and about the conserving of those resources. So in this session we will discuss something about the natural resources. Okay, that is, what are the natural resources? Land, soil and water. Alright, so let's begin. Now, we all know that land, soil, and water are the natural resources which can be directly used by us. Yes, we all know that we live in this land. We make our shelters, our houses, and all in this land. And second, soil. Soil is used for growing crops, for our foods, and all. Water is used for drinking and also other purposes. So, in every way, we are directly dependent on these natural resources. Now, these resources are not evenly distributed because their percentage is more or less, somewhere more. But still, they are closely interlinked with each other. That is land, water, and soil. They're all interlinked with each other, and we need all three of them to exist in this world. Understood? We need all three of them together. So, let's discuss about land. Now, first, that is, land covers about 29% of the total surface area of the earth. That is, only 29% is of land, the rest is water. Okay. Second, human beings are dependent on land for most of their requirements, such as food, clothing, and shelter. Yes, we are dependent on land for all of our requirements, such as food. Yes, we, as I've said, we need to grow crops in this land, otherwise we'll not get food. Second, clothing. Also, we wear cotton clothes. So from where this cotton comes? Cotton also comes from trees, so it is also grown in this land. Next, shelter. Yes, we make our houses on the land, isn't it? So in every way we are dependent on this land. Next, that is, animals are also dependent on it for food and shelter. Yes, as we are dependent on land, the same way the other animals, herbivores, carnivores, and all, they are all dependent on land for food and shelter. Understood? Next, most human activities depend on the type of land that they live on. That means, yes, our activities depend on the type of land. Suppose in the plain areas we stay, so here agriculture and all these things we are dependent on this. All right. So in the mountain areas, the percentages gets low, but in those areas also people are dependent on land in some way or another in different activities. So wherever we are, in whatever land we are, so everywhere we are working in different way, but we are dependent on that type of land where we live in. Understood? So this is it. Now, next we have that land can generally be categorized into three types. So what are the categories? First, that is the mountains. Second, we have plains. Next, we have plateaus. Okay, so these are the three categories under which land is divided. Okay, now first we have, that is, mountains. Now, what are these mountains? Let's see. Mountains are very high lands found on the earth. So that is higher than the plains and plateaus also. Now, some of the important mountain ranges in the world are Himalayas. We have the Himalayas in Asia. All right, Atlas in Africa, Alps in Europe. All right, Rockies in North America, and the Andes in South America. These are the well-known mountain ranges in this world. Now, next come up, that is, yes, these mountains are very valuable to us as they are covered with snowfields that are a source of many perennial rivers. Understood? Like perennial rivers, on the other hand, make the plains fertile by bringing alluvial soil with them. Understood? Now, what are these perennial rivers? Perennial rivers, the rivers, those who have water throughout the year. So from where they get this water? They get this water from these uh, snowy mountains and all. When the snow gets what starts melting and all, these perennial rivers get their water, and these perennial rivers also make the plains fertile as they bring alluvial soil with them. All right. Now, next is natural vegetation found on mountains provide shelter to wildlife. Yes, the natural vegetation that is in the mountain areas and all, they provide shelter to different types of wildlife that is available over there. Now, also, except this also, the coniferous trees, those are found in the mountain areas, they are very good for the commercial value also. Understood? So, this natural vegetation is very important in the mountainous areas. And next, we have that is mountains also affect the climate of a place. Yes. Now, uh, you see the example, the Himalayas in India stop the monsoon winds from India to blow over the extreme north, and they thus cause rainfall in India. So they stop the monsoon winds so that uh, it causes rainfall in India. Understood? Otherwise, it would fly over those Himalayas to other parts. All right. So in this way, mountains are very helpful to us. Okay. Next, we have plateaus. Now, what are these plateaus? Now, plateaus are flat lands that are higher than the surrounding lands. Surrounding lands mean the lands where we live in. So, plateaus are higher than the these kind of plain lands around. All right. Now, what are the some popular plateaus of the world? That is the Tibetan Plateau, that is in the Tibet. The Deccan Plateau we have in India. The Anatolian Plateau, that is in Turkey. It is in Asia. The Brazilian plateau in South America, and the Siberian Plateau in Russia. So these are the most common plateaus in the whole world. Understood? Now, next come plateaus cover about 45% of the land surface. So out of the total land surface, plateaus cover 45 of them. 45%. Now, next is plateaus are generally rich in mineral deposits. Some of the common minerals found are coal, iron ore, manganese, and bauxite. So these are the different minerals that are available in the plateau areas. So plateaus basically are very important one for us, isn't it? So we get so many minerals and all. Okay. Next, we have plains. What are these plains? Plains are flat and fertile areas at low altitudes. Low altitudes, that is like ours one. Understood? So they are the flat and fertile areas. Fertile in the sense because most of the crops are grown over in these areas and all. That's why it is one of the most fertile areas. Now, some of the famous plains are the Ganga Brahmaputra plains, that is in India, the Indus plains in Pakistan, the North European plains in Europe, the prairies in North America. Also, we have Yangkiang plains, that is in China. So, all these are the renowned ones. Now, most of the plains are formed due to the deposition of alluvial brought down by the rivers. Now, as I have said that the perennial rivers brings alluvium with them, alluvial soil with them. So, with this deposition of alluvial soil, these plain areas are formed long back. Understood? Next, plains are generally highly populated regions. Yes, highly populated regions because due to the presence of the proper land, water in the form of rivers and all. So people are engaged in agriculture and all. So most of the agricultural works and the other activities are easily done over in these areas. So that's why plain areas are highly populated areas. So in these areas people live most of them. Okay. And plains also have a good network of transport and communication. Yes, we all know in accordance to the mountains and plateau areas, plains have a good network of transport and communication. Understood? Next we have that is land in India. Now, India has diverse landforms. Understood? So, these are the various landforms that India has. First, the great mountains of north, we call it as the Himalayas. The northern plains, the peninsular plateau, or we can call it as the Deccan Plateau, the great Indian desert, coastal plains, and islands. So, these are the various landforms that are present in India. First, we have the Himalayas. Now, the Himalayas are the highest young fold mountains with a stretch of 2400 km in an east-west direction. Understood? See the figure here. So the total stretch is about 2400 km. Alright, now it has got three parallel ranges. The topmost one, it is known as Himadri. The second one, that is the lesser Himalaya, it is known as Himachal. And the third one, that is the outer Himalaya, it is known as Shivaliks. Okay, now these Himalayas are the source of many important rivers such as Ganga, Yamuna, and Brahmaputra. So these Himalayas, basically all these perennial rivers, their source is from the Himadri region. Okay, that is the topmost areas. Greater Himalaya we call it. All right. Now next come up, it is thickly forested in the Himachal range. Yes, the middle range of the Himalayas is known as Himachal. It is thickly forested and it has got lots of coniferous trees such as pine, cher and the other, which are very much important for the commercial purposes. Alright. Now, deciduous vegetations in Shivaliks. Now, in the lower range, that is the Shivalik areas, it contains various kinds of deciduous vegetation such as sal, bamboo and teak. Okay. Next we have, that is the northern plains. Now, northern plains are formed by the deposition of alluvial soil brought down by the rivers that originate in the Himalayas. Now, as we have studied earlier, as I have said you in the class, that these northern plains, these are formed by the alluvium, deposits of alluvium that has been carried out by the perennial rivers, all right, from the Himalayas. Okay, whose source is from the Himalayas. Understood? Because of the presence of these alluvial soil, the northern plains is fertile, is very much fertile, and lots of activities can be done here. Now, the rivers like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, and Satluj drain the western part. So, in the western areas, these rivers, these important rivers are present. And in the central area, Ganga, Yamuna, Betwa, and Son drain the central part. Now, the Brahmaputra river drains the eastern part. So, the most of the eastern part is drained by the Brahmaputra river itself. Now, crops such as rice, wheat, jute, and sugarcane are extensively grown here. As these areas are very much fertile, so these crops are easily grown here in large scale production. Alright, for the large scale production, these crops are easily grown here. Next, we have the peninsular plateau, or we can call it as the Deccan Plateau. Now, if you see this map over here, the chocolate brown color, this area is the Deccan Plateau. See, it's like ulta triangle. Understood? So that's why this area is it forms a triangle shape. That's why it's known as peninsular plateau, and it is also called Deccan Plateau. Okay. First we have, that is, the Deccan Plateau is situated to the south of the northern plains. So in the south of the northern plains we have the Deccan Plateau. It is rich in minerals like iron ore, coal and manganese. Now, as this Deccan Plateau is made of igneous and metamorphic rocks, so that's why these areas are very much rich in minerals. We get iron ore, coal and manganese in these areas. Okay, now which are the important rivers? Now Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna, Kaveri and Tapi flow through this region. So these are the important rivers that are present in the Deccan Plateau. Now, this region is important for irrigation and generating hydroelectricity, as there are so many rivers in these areas. So, many dams have been created, have been constructed in those rivers for storing what? Water for irrigation. Now, in the villages where rainfall is very much scarce, so these dams help those villages to provide with the water for their irrigation purpose and for generating electricity, that we call it as the hydroelectricity. Understood? And the crops that are grown are cotton, sugarcane, and oilseed. So these are the important crops that are grown here. Okay. Next we have the coastal plains. Now the coastal plains are characterized by an area of flat low-lying land that is situated adjacent to a water body, often a sea or ocean. It is also of note that coastal plains are separated from the interior of the large landmass by other unique features. Now, if we see the areas near the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, we have in Orissa also. So, the areas that are adjacent to the seas and ocean, those areas, those landmasses are called the coastal plains. Now, these coastal plains are very much rich in natural vegetation and wildlife. Okay. Next, we have the island groups. India has a vast mainland. Beside this, the country has also two groups of islands. One is the Lakshadweep Islands, another is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, these areas are also rich in natural vegetation and wildlife, and various crops such as rice, coconut are grown in these areas. Okay. Next we have, that is the Great Indian Desert. Yes, this Great Indian Desert is a dry region which receives very little rainfall. So as we all know, in the desert areas rainfall is less. Alright. So this Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert, and we all know where is the Thar Desert located. Thar Desert is located in Rajasthan. So it lies to the west of the Aravalli range. Okay, and due to the scarcity of the water, it has sparse vegetation. That means the vegetation is less in accordance to the other areas, as the rainfall is low in these areas. So that's why there is scarcity of water. But the Indira Gandhi Canal has made the northwestern part suitable for agriculture. But with the introduction of the Indira Gandhi Canal, the northwestern area is now suitable for agriculture, and these uh, canal is also helping to improve the livelihood of the people in those areas. Understood? So in recent time, this has been the major change in the land use pattern in India. Okay, so that's it for today. So hope this session helped you a lot. See you in the next session. Bye bye.